Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Ain't no brown boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So last night we saw Danny Jacobs fight Sulecki. Yeah, during the fight card they gave out the proper pronunciation of the guy's name. It's not Sulecki, it's Sulecki. Now looking at this fight, I mean I heard of Sulecki. I really didn't tune in to any of his fights prior to this, but I gotta say that this guy definitely earned himself a new fan. I say that because considering the fact that, you know, him moving up from super welterweight and fighting a guy like Danny Jacobs' caliber, he did a good job. I mean, me looking at it, I know he was probably an inch and a half, 2 inches taller than Jacobs, but he was definitely smaller. He has a smaller frame. You can tell that he was moving up in weight. But even though this guy isn't some monstrous KO artist, he's definitely a good fighter. He's very durable in that ring, and he didn't plan on going anywhere, and that's definitely something very respectable. And I just wanted to throw out there, even in a loss, you know, a guy who can definitely gain a lot of fame and notoriety and new fans, and that's definitely what happened with Sulecki last night. Now, when it comes to this fight in its entirety, it was definitely entertaining. I enjoyed it, and you know, it was a decent night of boxing. I mean, it wasn't good as the other week, but it was definitely a decent night of boxing. Danny Jacobs did what he had to do. He had a good knockdown in the 12th round, but overall, I wasn't impressed. Like, I was on Twitter, I was talking to my brother and some of the fans watching the fights, and I understand that the fighters prepare differently depending on the caliber opponent that they're going against, but I only could judge a man off of his last performance. And if that Danny Jacobs from last night was going against the Jermall Charlo from last week, I don't see how it's possible for Danny Jacobs to get out of that fight awake. Like, no disrespect to Danny Jacobs, but I'm just trying to be completely honest when it comes to that. Danny Jacobs started his career off fighting at super middleweight, and he gradually moved down. So with that being said, we all know Jacobs has a lot of power. Yes, and I understand that Sulecki could be extremely durable, but Jacobs is out here trying to make a statement fight. He's trying to make a statement. First of all, he started off the fight, he lost the first round. Jacobs, he wasn't as polished as he normally is. And honestly, I think he came in this fight trying to one-up Jermall Charlo. Of course, he would never admit it, but the fact that he lost the first round and the way that he came out and he was getting touched up by Sulecki tells me that he had Charlo on his mind. He had Brooklyn on his mind. He was trying to put on a good show for home, in this guy early, but at the same time, he was trying to one-up Charlo. Now, I understand that Sulecki beat Centeno, the guy Jermall Charlo just beat. I understand all of that. But at the same time, Danny Jacobs has a longer reign at middleweight. He's had his opportunity against Triple G. He lost. But then he also had those career-defining fights, like against Peter Quillen, when he came out there and he knocked the guy out in the first round. So it seemed like Danny Jacobs he has the ability to get that type of stuff done, but he couldn't get it done last night. So at this point in Danny Jacobs' career, I'm starting to wonder, like, is he overrated? Is he being overhyped? And not in a way that saying that he couldn't do what he did or do better against Triple G, because I believe Triple G at this point of his career, or for the large portion of his career, he was overhyped. Do I believe that Danny Jacobs beat Triple G in a previous fight? Yes, I do. Do I believe Danny Jacobs can beat Triple G if they fought again, especially at this point? Absolutely. But considering a lot of the other middleweights, even Billy Joe Saunders, putting him in that mix, When it comes to Canelo, it's hard to say because Canelo doesn't really fight anyone. The only actual middleweight he's fought at 160 pounds has been Triple G, so it's really hard to say. But you got these young guys like Jermall, Charlo. Soon you will be having guys from 154 moving up to middleweight. The middleweight division, I say in the next 2.5 years, it will be the most dominant division in boxing, especially if a lot of these guys from 154 come out either unscathed or with only one loss. And I say with one loss because if a guy like Jermall Charlo and Jared Hurd, if they unify, someone's going to take an L at some point. But overall, last night I was definitely entertained. Danny Jacobs, hey, you called out Charlo. I was definitely tweeting about that. I wanted Danny Jacobs. I was like, Danny Jacobs better get Charlo his shine at the end of this fight. That's all I know, because it was going to piss me off if he didn't. But he did. He was honest, and he said it in the order that he wanted things. Danny Jacobs let us know that he wanted anyone with the belt. And if he can't get that fight, Charlo, where you at, boy? So, okay, I appreciate the call out. Now, the only thing that's about to happen is, well, first thing first, unless Danny Jacobs is going to fight Billy Joe Saunders, he can kiss that Triple G bullshit goodbye. Because, well, not necessarily goodbye, he can just put that to the side. Because Triple G definitely just got mandated by the IBF to fight as mandatory prior to him fighting Canelo. And let's just say by the grace of God, Triple G gets through that IBF mandatory and he fights Canelo. What is Danny Jacobs going to do? I understand he just finished, but what month is this? It's basically May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, I don't understand how this is all about to go down. To my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Triple G has to fight his IBF mandatory. I think it said by August. If I'm wrong, if that's fake news, please correct me. I'm just going off of something I heard. I didn't look into it. But I don't know how all of this stuff is supposed to happen. But in the meantime, Danny Jacobs and Charlo, they can get in that ring and they can get it on. Now, if you want to involve politics into it, it doesn't really make the most sense. But at the end of the day, they're going to be on a collision course either way. If Triple G decides that he's going to fight everyone, he fights his IBF mandatory, he beats him. Let's just say hypothetically after that he fights Canelo and he beats Canelo. Then he's either going to have to fight his WBC mandatory or his WBA mandatory. At the end of the day, they're going to meet up eventually. So Charlo and Jacobs, hey, put that on the card. You can put Jermall Charlo on the same card to fight Jared Hurd, and you can have Mayweather promote it. Mayweather and Eddie Hearn, they can work something out since Eddie Hearn wants to control everything. They can work something out, and Mayweather can throw Tank on that card. I think it will be a good opportunity, and they can definitely make that card pay-per-view, but we all see what happened, guys. This is Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Peace.